Hey, welcome back to Monkey Business. I'm Nick, aka Dad, and usually Monk's here to say she's Addie, aka the monkey, but today I got my buddy Tyler here with me. He's helped out in some videos before that we've done at the dealership, and yeah, I asked him, boy, I don't have Addie today, so wondering if you could help me get the winch put in. And he said, for sure, yeah, I'll stop on by. So we've got our winch here. Let's show you again what we're putting in. I'll put a tag of the video we did on this before, kind of talking about the winch, but let's just show you again what we're using and again how to assemble it to put it into the Bay Area metal fab bumper. So here we go. All right, so again, we're using the Apex Badlands 12,000 pound winch from Harbor Freight. I got a great deal on this thing. I think in the end I paid $470 something, and I think it's a steal. And Tyler and I were kind of getting it prepped to put it in. Obviously we've got our Bay Area metal fab bumper we'll be putting it on. And yeah, putting on the bumper yesterday, I didn't know if we'd be able to get the winch down in there. So that's why we've taken off the grill, taken off the lower trim piece, and then took out a couple of the bolts just to give us a little bit extra room. And we've done a test fitment, definitely gonna be able to get it in there. So first things first though, we need to get this prepped to be able to accept the bolts in that here. So I'm gonna flip it over here, get my dog out of the way, and Tyler's gonna give me a hand here. So right down here, you've got these little voids here, and we're gonna put some square nuts in here from the kit. They look like this, and they'll just slide right into the feet here. So once they're in there, we got 4 of those guys. I'll get a couple on my side while Tyler gets that side. So you'll get those in first. Those have to go in first because you won't have anything to bolt into. And then you've got also this little wire here, that's your ground. And if you're gonna leave your control pack on top, get my shadow out of your way, you're gonna need to connect that to the ground here. And then also you're gonna take our ground cable there, which is the longest one. We're gonna take that and connect it onto here as well and take them both up to the battery. We'll get this thing cinched down, get it all put in. Okay, so one thing Tyler and I did, we did take the little wire just wrapped around here because you do have a little bit extra, put him on the bottom. We've got our other ground cable, which is the big one that'll go to your battery on there. And then this is actually using a 13 millimeter socket is what this will take to get this bolt down. So we'll get this tightened up here, and then we'll get the camera back on a tripod, show you us installing this thing. Hopefully it goes smoothly. Now one thing we are gonna do, since we put those little feet in there, and we kind of have to angle this into that well that the bumper has for a winch, we're gonna take some good old duct tape, or in this case Gorilla Tape, and we're gonna put it over the feet so they don't slide out when we angle it down. So if you have to do that, it might be a good idea just to tape those little dudes in there just so they don't fall out and you don't take it back out again, repeat the whole process over again. So might be a good tip. Try it. All right, here we go. We're gonna try to put it in. Hopefully it goes well and don't have to repeat the process. Make sure you run your cables through. Get them on the back side. Okay. You got your end, I got mine. A little bit of bendy. Oh, there we go. And we are in. So, slid it down at an angle, slid it towards Tyler's side. Now he's got to put the bolts up through, and then we'll have to put the bolts back in the bumper here and secure it, but getting pretty close. Let's finish this up.
Top one.
All right, last one.
Yep.
think we're good.
Oh, we got this other top one up here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Glad you reminded me.
One second. Keep losing though. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. We've got all of our bolts for the bumper secured back in. Right now the winch is just sitting in there sliding back and forth so we get the bolts in. We'll go from the bottom now, put the hardware that we were given from the Badlands kit, which is 4 bolts, 4 washers, 4 lock washers, and we'll get those put in. That will actually use, if I remember right, yeah, a 13mm socket for that. So we'll get them from the bottom. Yeah, scratch that last thing about a 13mm. It's a 16mm you use on the bolts that go up and into the winch. Tyler was looking at it, goes, hey, that's the wrong one. I'm like, you're right. So it's a 16mm socket you'll use to put those bolts in through your bumper up into those little screws we put, or basically little nuts that we put into the bottom of the winch. So just do that. So there is the little foot we're looking for, and the nice thing about Bay Area Metal Fab is they've got these little holes that we can get access to there, and that's the plate above that, and then that's the foot for the Badlands Winch. So yeah, they engineered it correctly to where we can get easy access to it. So we'll get these bolts put in, and then we got to do some electrical. All right, per the instructions, these bottom bolts need to be torqued down to anywhere between 30 and 33 foot-pounds. So I've got my ratchet here. I've got it set for 33. We'll go with the higher end and torque these down, and then get to the electrical. So see you up top. All right, so Tyler and I are up top now in the engine bay and looking for where we're going to route our power and our ground. We're going to basically come up through here next to the battery, wind back in here. We're actually going to use, I believe, we're going to use this spot right here for our ground. It leads right to the battery terminal on the ground side here. And then we'll take our power and kind of wrap it around the battery till we get to this point over here. We did disconnect the battery. We just wanted to make sure that we weren't grounding and anything like that. So we got it disconnected. So we're going to use, I think, this point here for our power cable. So let's get that running. We'll show you how it looks at the end. Well, we've got the winch in, as you can see, and boy, is it tight. I mean, we forgot to put this trim piece on, but luckily we're able to slide it back in there. But boy, it is a tight fit. There's nothing going on between there, and we're probably gonna lose some paint at some point. But yeah, there is no give up front here. So yeah, no give there. We did forget to put back in our little grates here, but didn't feel like taking another 30 minutes probably to get that done. But got all the wiring done. We've got our, let me get my shadow. We got our power coming to this one here. Got our ground over here. So everything's pretty much buttoned up. We've got one more trim piece to put on top, and then we are finished up. But you know, the winch really wasn't hard to put in once we got some preliminary things done that took way longer than they should have. But if you're putting in this winch, I would probably suggest taking off the bumper, making sure you've got it centered well. This is, I think, a little bit wider than a worn winch maybe, even though everything I found online didn't say that it really was much wider or much taller or anything like that. So I think the control box is definitely a little bit bigger, which is probably one thing that would make it a little bit smaller looking. But it still fits. So if you're going to do a Bay Area Metal Fab bumper for a Bronco, a winch from Harbor Freight, a Badlands 12,000K synthetic winch line will work. And it's not too terribly bad to put in once you just get it out of the box and put it in. So again, appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this has been informative on how to put on the bumper in the first video, and this one showing you how to put the winch in if you've already put the bumper on. Again, Probably would have been easier just to put the bumper on along with the winch at the same time, but we wanted to make sure you knew how to put the bumper on too. So appreciate you watching. Have a blessed day, and as Addie would say, bye.